Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. I hope you're all very well. It's nearly Friday, hallelujah. I should apologise yesterday. I said I'd be here yesterday when I ended the stream on Tuesday night and then I wasn't. It was Valentine's Day and I'd forgotten that was happening. Went out, had a nice Italian, had a lovely little carbonara. Put the carbonara on Instagram on my story. I'm not even joking. I've had about 50 DMs off Italians absolutely raging at that English attempt of a carbonara. So won't be doing that again. Need to go to Italy and get a proper one. And that's pretty much got you up to date. Max, Emilio, Vivi Vlad, Magnus, Jean, Ethan, good to see you all. I hope you're doing very well. He will ruin us. I assume you are talking about one Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, the news coming out today, and I feel like we have had this news basically every week for the last however long, but Kylian Mbappe is leaving PSG. Definitely, absolutely, categorically leaving PSG this summer on a free. And look, it's such a boring situation because I can't think of a time where arguably the best player in the world at 25 years old is available on a free. Like, it's basically unheard of. And there's, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, AC Milan. Like, everyone should be clambering trying to get him. And in reality, he'll go to probably Real Madrid, and if not Real Madrid, Man City, because no one else can afford him. That's just the reality of it. No one else can afford him. He's on 200 million euros a year at PSG. And that's not all cash in hand, because I think he was actually given a stake in the club when they last redid their deal. But effectively, he currently costs PSG 200 million euros per year. Now, to put that into context, that is more than Arsenal's entire wage bill in 2023. So it would cost us more, or that it wouldn't, because it's not going to happen, but it would cost more to get Mbappe than it would to pay every other player at the club. That's not even just the senior team. That is everyone. That's all 71 paid players at Arsenal Football Club. And that's why, as much as I said, could we on the thumbnail, we ain't getting Mbappe. It's just not happening. Real Madrid have sent an offer. Yeah, Real Madrid have sent an offer. Actually, apparently their offer is lower than the offer that they made for them in 2020. It's lower wages than they offered him in 2022, which is interesting. But we're not going to come close. That's just the reality. Sharmarke, good to see you. I'm doing well. Giat reveal? No, thank you. No, thank you. Arjun, good to see you as well. Draka, good to see you. But yeah, so look, the reality is, I hate to shut it down so early. The reality is, Mbappe will take a pay cut, a massive pay cut, and he'll go to Real Madrid. That's the only clubs outside of Real Madrid and Man City that could afford him are the Saudi clubs. If he goes to Saudi Arabia, having effectively wasted his career already at PSG, like the reality is he's now 25 years old, and outside of the World Cups that he's won with France, in terms of his club career, it's rubbish. Like his club career has been rubbish. No Champions League and a few Ligue 1s. So if he goes to Saudi Arabia off the back of that's embarrassing. I don't think he has a good attitude. No, I mean, he's greedy. He's greedy. And the thing is, right, how much greed do you need? How much money do you need? He is worth hundreds of millions of pounds. What more can he do? Like, the Mbappe family is set for generations and generations. He doesn't need to go to Saudi for the money. In fact, he's got so much money. If he really wanted to, he could just pick whatever club he wanted to go to and say, how much can you afford? Okay, I'll take it. But look, Real Madrid, you can't complain. The chances are he'll win at least one Champions League at Real Madrid. That, as VV Vlad said, their team would be insane with Kylian Mbappe. They've got, already Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo. I mean, that front three, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Kylian Mbappe. Throw in the likes of Endrick that are coming up. You've then got Bellingham behind them with Tchouaméni and Camavinga and Fede Valverde. Heard today as well that Real Madrid are going to get Alphonso Davies. So they are building a super squad. It is the reality of it. And obviously Mbappe would just be the crown jewel on top of that. Maddie, good evening. Good to see you. So yeah, he's not coming to Arsenal. And look, to be honest, I'd way rather he went to Real Madrid than to Manchester City. I would way rather he went to Real Madrid than to Manchester City. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine having to deal with Mbappe and Haaland in the same team? Crazy. Real need a striker, like a real one. Mbappe is better off the left. They need Osimhen or Martinez. I think they'll be fine with Mbappe. With Vinicius one side of him and Rodrigo the other, and Jude Bellingham joining up almost as a second striker, I think they'll be all right. I really do. Love your 9 in 9 series. I can sense the day 27W. I'll tell you what. I don't know. I'd love it. Day 27. I would love it. But yeah, the 9 in 9 challenge. If you don't watch the 9 in 9 challenge, it's on my TikTok and my Instagram. It is a brutal challenge. It is a brutal challenge. Do you think City can actually afford him? Yeah. Well, no. Right. No club can actually afford. In reality, I believe no club can afford what Mbappe wants legally, in terms of doing it within FFP restrictions and all the rest of it. However, there are ways around that. In the same way that what Erling Haaland's actually being paid and what he's probably getting paid on paper, two very different things. And I'd imagine it would be the same for Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe under Pep would be the end of the league. Yeah. Oh, it would be horrible. It would be horrible. So the lesser of two evils is that he goes to Real Madrid, I think. Let's be real. There's one place that Mbappe ends up and it's not Arsenal. Yeah. I agree. And also, if he came to Arsenal, what would we do with Martinelli? They can't both start. So I think we'd be in trouble. Judge Mo is in the chat. What an absolute legend. It is good to see you. If you're not subscribed to Judge Mo's channel, get over there. I'll be appearing on that channel more regularly now, which is awesome. And he is a top YouTuber. Do you think Arteta could even manage his ego? No. I don't know. I don't know how much of an ego Mbappe will have if he goes to, I want to say, a proper club. That's disrespectful to PSG, quite intentionally. I think if he goes to a proper club, he might leave his ego at the door a little bit. And there's a point where I think there are Arsenal players that have a bit of ego. I don't think that's a problem. I think when Arteta has an issue, it's when your ego doesn't match your ability, i.e. Matteo Guendouzi, i.e. Aubameyang in his final 6 months. I think if your ability matches the ego, it's not so much of a problem. We have one of the only defenders that has been able to handle Mbappe. This is true. Did I hear you right? You're worried about Martinelli if you get Mbappe? I mean, yeah. No, I'm not, to be fair. We could play Mbappe down the middle and Martinelli off the left, and I think that'd be fine. Is Mbappe bigger than Arteta? No. No one is bigger than Arteta at Arsenal Football Club. Macron will call him again and he'll stay at PSG like last time. No, I do think this time it is finito. It is done. Saliba or Van Dijk? Van Dijk? Saliba for me. Just about. But if you were going to take one of them now, do you want the player that's... How old's Van Dijk? 32? or do you want the one that's 22? You want the one that's 22. I believe you recover most of the wages with the sale of shirts, marketing, and all of that. Just do it. Plus, I believe he will be our striker, and you will sub out Martinelli. You don't make 200 million a year off shirt sales. You don't Don't get me wrong. You would make. There's obviously there is a commercial side to having Kylian Mbappe. You're not making 200 million euros in a year off it. And also shirt sales. The majority of money you make from shirt sales goes to, in our case, Adidas. Arsenal don't actually. The way it works is that you'll have a kit provider, and the kit provider will pay you to be the kit provider and the sponsor, and then you pay them, or they take a fair chunk of the shirt sales. Thoughts on that Carlos Cuesta news? He's going to go inevitably. The talent is there. Yeah, so if you haven't seen this, Carlos Cuesta is potentially going to go to Norwich City. They are potentially interested in taking Carlos Cuesta and giving him the manager role. And look, he's 28. He's done a lot of good work at Arsenal. His name is held in high regard because of the work he's done. And this is an opportunity for him to go into full-time management. So apparently he's going to wait until the end of the season, regardless. And he won't make any sort of decision until the end of the season. But, it would be a loss. It would be a loss for sure. But equally, when you've got young, promising coaches, you can't hold on to them forever. If you have someone that good who's on the course to becoming a manager and that's what they want to do, then you can't stop them. You can't stop them. Why is Gabriel so underrated by other fans? I don't get Van de Ven over Gabriel. Because the main reason is that when Gabriel first arrived in the Premier League, he, some people call it the bozo gene, but he would make mistakes relatively frequently. And it takes a long time for people to forget that, for starters. And I also don't think he's as aesthetically pleasing as other centre-backs, right? So Van de Ven falls in the same category as Saliba in that the pace of them makes them when you watch them, you're like, oh, wow. Because you don't expect centre-backs to outpace strikers and to win the ball back so easily. Whereas Gabriel's style of defending is very aggressive. It's, he uses his height and his physicality and he gets into the back of people. Saliba will let a striker turn sometimes because he knows he can outpace them. Gabriel will slam into the back of you and he won't let you go anywhere. So he's just a different type of defender that will never get the same credit as someone like Van de Ven or Saliba. But if you look at their stats, Gabriel's clear. There's a legit argument that Gabriel's a better defender than Saliba. And obviously, if you look at it, like Spurs' defense, goalkeeper and defense, has been overrated this season because actually of how often they're called upon. Spurs' defense, their defensive stats aren't good. They're not good. Spurs have conceded more than double the XG that we have. But because they put themselves in positions with that high line where they have to go and do that high risk, high reward defending, winning the ball back, it makes them look better. That article also called him the number 2. Is that accurate? Quite the rise from his roles seen in the AON. I know what that stands for. I just can't remember. Yes. Yeah, he is basically the number 2. I think he's seen as the number 2. Obviously, we're losing AirPods Albert as well. Or is he already gone? I can't remember. AirPods Albert's definitely off anyway. Mbappe is definitely off to Madrid. Yeah, I agree. Another part of it is, besides he's one of the best defenders in the league. Yeah, Gabriel is top 5 defenders in the league. That's factual, in my opinion. Gabriel still has those mistakes in him, but so does 99% of defenders. Every defender has it. And that's the thing, though, right? Gabriel, really, even the own goal against Liverpool, people wanted to put that on Gabriel because it's Gabriel, even though it blatantly wasn't his fault. Like, there's nothing he can do to stop that own goal happening. But people still wanted to put it on him. They wanted to be like, oh, another Gabriel mistake. In reality, he makes as few mistakes as any top centre-back in the league. But when he does make those mistakes, instead of being like a Van Dijk, where you're like, oh my God, you don't expect Van Dijk to make a mistake. It's Gabriel, he's made a mistake again. It's the same way people had it in their head with Granit Xhaka and getting bookings. Granit Xhaka went like 2 years without getting a red card, but people still have it in their head. And it's difficult to shake that, which is an issue that he's struggling with. We lost Steve Round last summer. We did. Saliba is also a good emergency blanket for Gabriel. He is. They work in tandem so well together. That's the reality, is that they work incredibly well as a duo. Do you think Mbappe would take a pay cut to join Arsenal, maybe 200k? Yeah, but if he took 200k a week, right? Let's do a little bit of mathematics. So he takes 200k a week. That puts him on 10 million a year. He's currently on 200 million a year. Like, he might take a pay cut, but he's not going to take a whatever percentage that is cut. I mean, what is that? What's that as a percentage? 10 out of 20, basically. No, 10 out of 200. 5. Yeah, he's not going to take a 95% pay cut. He's not going to do that. Rory, did you see Beereth's goal? I did. If you haven't seen this, I tweeted it, actually. Mika Beereth scored on his Conference League debut this evening, and it's a really nice finish. The ball comes into him, and naturally, I feel like where the ball comes into him, you'd hit it with your left across the keeper. So he's kind of on the left-hand side of the goal. Naturally, you'd hit it on your left across the keeper. He actually uses the outside of his right foot and goes at the near post. It's a really good finish and a really unpredictable finish, which is why I think it goes in. So, look, Mika Beereth's one to keep an eye on. He is a striker that's one to keep an eye on. If he ever makes it at Arsenal, I don't know. But he's the sort of player where, you know, again, if you can go and sell him for 25, 30 million quid, happy days. That's a massive pay cut. He's not doing it. Yeah, exactly. Someone should create a petition for an AirPod Albert statue outside the ground. Maybe. How many signings are you expecting this summer? 4. 100% a striker, 100% a midfielder. Probably a goalkeeper as a replacement for Ramsdale. And then either a versatile defender or a versatile winger as backup depth. That's what I think. Do you think he will be good for Real Madrid? Because people are saying he will not. Yeah, I've seen that. People saying that he would. I can't remember who it was, but just before I started streaming, I saw someone say Mbappe won't take Real Madrid to the next level. If Mbappe is not taking you to the next level, you're not getting to the next level. I don't know what more you want. Like, Mbappe takes any team to a level beyond what they're currently at. I don't care who it is, even if it's Man City. Kylian Mbappe off the left-hand side for Man City instead of Doku or Grealish, that's another level. Whoever it is. I think there is now almost a level of disrespect on Kylian Mbappe because he's been at PSG for so long and it's not worked. I still just don't. Yeah, I think some people don't appreciate he is still that guy. Rory, with the low chance of getting Mbappe, would you rather the release clause of Gyökeres or Osimhen, or just go for Tony? Well, it's interesting, right? I like Gyökeres, and I would take him probably. I saw yesterday it does sound like Ivan Toney is actually our number one option, and one of the reasons for that may well be that once they've got Kylian Mbappe off their books, PSG go for Victor Osimhen. I saw that a minute ago, that PSG may well be going for Osimhen themselves. Now, again, I think anyone that takes PSG over an Arsenal, I think that's the wrong decision. But if they do it, then that leaves us with the next choice, which I'd be on. I'd probably just about prefer Tony to Gyökeres because of the been there, done it in the Premier League nature of him. But I'd argue Gyökeres has got a higher ceiling than Ivan Toney. Has Tony got an attitude and an ego? Yeah, a little bit. He does a little bit. But he's one of those ones where I feel like he'd leave that ego at the door a little bit when he joins Arsenal. Like, I feel like part of that is because he's currently at Brentford, where he is undoubtedly the big dog, the star player. He wouldn't be that at Arsenal, so he'd have to leave it at the door. And I don't think Arteta would sign him if he didn't think that Tony was capable of leaving the ego at the door. Did you watch Zubamendi yesterday? He was good first half. Also, Bayern might realistically get knocked out. That would be massive. Yeah, Zubamendi, I did think he looked decent. I'll be honest. I wasn't blown away by him. But he, again, it's always difficult to judge a player when they're not playing for you. So, it was. I didn't sit there and go, wow, I want Zubamendi no matter what. But, it's against PSG. Did you see the video of Mesut Ozil? Man is getting big. No, I haven't actually. I haven't seen that. Can't believe no teams, Prem teams went for Gyökeres. He was so good last year in the Championship. It's the Championship. The reality is there are players that have done exceptionally well in the Championship that just cannot convert that to the Premier League for whatever reason. Timo Pukki is a great example of a player that smashes up the and to be fair, Mitrovic had that tag for a while as well. So I can kind of understand it. But now, Gyökeres will come back to the Premier League probably for twice as much as you could have got him for a year ago. So it is what it is. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is. In the chat, the first person to get it correct in the chat is a legend, a top Gooner, and has the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. We're doing it a bit early today. I have to finish the stream at 7 to jump over to the Top 6 show on the Football Terrace. So we've only got 8 minutes to rattle through this. So get your fingers on your keyboards ready. The first clue for today's Guess the Gooner, they had 228 appearances for Arsenal, making their debut in 1999. 228 Arsenal appearances making their debut in 1999. They won the FA Cup a record 7 times. They won the FA Cup a record 7 times. They represented England at 3 World Cups. Sorry, that's clue number 3. They represented England at 3 World Cups. Clue number 4, they won the Champions League in 2011-12. They won the Champions League in 2011-12. And clue number 5. Has anyone got it yet? No one has got it yet. Now people have got it. Clue number 5. They were once married to an X Factor judge. They were once married to an X Factor judge. So it started with Thierry Henry, then it was Bergkamp, then it was Vieira, Pires shouts in there. The first person, though, to get it correct, it was Ashley Cole, and Joe talks footy. Joe does talk footy, and he's got it right. He has got it right. It was Ashley Cole. Eric was second. Hartley was third. Mr. Adam was fourth, and Ethan Udall was fifth. But congratulations to Joe Talks Footy on getting that correct. I think it's relatively, I don't know, I don't want to say relatively unknown that he won the FA Cup a record 7 times, but I didn't realize, I was making up the clues and I wrote down that he'd won the FA Cup 7 times because I saw that from Transfer Market, and I was like, I thought to myself, there can't be many players who have won the FA Cup 7 times. Googled it, and it turns out Ashley Cole is the record holder for the most amount of FA Cups. So congratulations to those of you who got it. Hate Cole, but he was one of the best to come out of our academy, to be fair. Yeah, he was. There aren't many. Like, realistically, if you think about our academy, he's arguably the only player to come through our academy that's gone on to be the certified best in their position for a decade. And most people would still agree that Ashley Cole's the best left back the Premier League's ever seen. Which just makes it so much more frustrating that we let that academy graduate who was the best the Premier League had ever seen go to Chelsea because we wouldn't pay him $5,000 a week more than he was on. But that is the history of Arsenal at that period. John, good to see you. I feel like Mbappe has to join the Prem if he really wants to leave a trademark in football. I agree to an extent. I agree to an extent, but there are people who will say that, that's just Premier League bias. I don't know. I agree, though, especially with the way football's going. Like, realistically, if it wasn't for Girona having a fairly incredible season this season, Real Madrid would be absolutely pissing La Liga. Real Madrid, they're 10 points ahead of Barcelona, and they're 13 points ahead of Atletico Madrid. Add Mbappe to that team. I mean, that it has the potential, because Barcelona are still in trouble financially. La Liga has the potential to become a one-team league for a while at least. Anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. This is where I give you a career path for a player who has never played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is. What season is the kit you're wearing from? 2021? No. 1920? Anyone know in the chat what season this was? Anyone know in the chat what season this kit was from? I want to say 1920. Noah, good to see you. Good to see you, Noah. Anyway, time for Guess the Non-Gooner. This player started their career 2021. Okay. This player started their career at FC Sion. Started their career at FC Sion. They went to RB Leipzig. They went to Hertha Berlin. So they went Sion, Leipzig, Hertha, Atletico Madrid, Wolves on loan, Wolves permanently. Sion, Leipzig, Hertha, Atletico Madrid, Wolves on loan, Wolves permanently. Who is the player? And straight in there, Ethan Udall has got it correct. He's the first person to even make a guess, and it was the correct guess. It was indeed Matheus Cunha. It's not Arnold. Sam Shapiro was second. Max Evans was third. The Shadow Claw was fourth. And Hartley Green was fifth. And the reason that Matheus Cunha was on the mind is because he's out for the rest of the season. He's out for the rest of the season with a hamstring injury, which is gutting. It's gutting. Because I've really, of all of the players outside of Arsenal, he's one of the players that I've really, really enjoyed watching this season. I wish he was better at finishing, but I really enjoy watching him. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. It's a short stream. I apologize, but if you want to keep watching me, I'm about to jump over to the football. I'll put it in here. The Football Terrace. It is called the Top 6 Show. The Top 6 Show. I'm about to go and join it. I will see you on the other side. If not, I will see you at 6:30 tomorrow. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you very much for watching. If you could subscribe, if you're not already, and like the stream before you hop off, I'd be incredibly grateful. Adios.